I like that they take that kind of Pink Floyd approach where there's an overarching deep theme to what's going on, and they don't just tell it through the lyrics. They actually lean into the whole sonic presentation to make you feel a certain way. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Drunkship of Lanterns is from the Mars Volta's debut album, Deloused in the Comatorium, released in 2003. This is a band I haven't thought about in a very long time, and I never got into them, really. I was shown a few songs many, many years ago. I remember them sounding really out there and chaotic, and I guess I never went back. But our members on Patreon mentioned that Flea played bass on their debut album, which is the most unexpected thing I was not aware of. And I'm very familiar with his playing style, so I'm very intrigued to hear this in a context with a band like the Mars Volta. But this album seems like an instance where a debut album from a band really put them on the map right from the get-go. You know, Alternative Press gave this a perfect score. It said it takes multiple listens to absorb, and even then, you're probably not going to have a clue what Bixler's raving about. This song was also named the 91st best guitar song of all time by Rolling Stone, and it's just made all sorts of lists, so it seems to be quite the legacy. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Drunkship of Lanterns from the Mars Volta.
Mother cries. Is there a spirit that spits upon the edge of the sign? Is anybody there? These steps keep on growing long. Bad trials, lost propellers away.
This is about as unique as I remember. I think the songs I heard were either from their second or third album. Of course, I think Juan Alderete was playing on those. I've had the chance to get to know him over the years. We used to go to Warwick and be there together. One of the nicest guys. And I honestly thought he was playing on this one. The whole Flea thing's really throwing me for a loop. I'm trying to listen to that, and it's like, where do you even jump in? Or where do you even focus your attention? There's so much going on. There's a lot of panning. I like this kind of theme they're developing with the 3-3-2. So you got 3 8 notes, 3 8 notes, and 2 8 notes to still be in 4, but it gives that really driving kind of syncopated pulse. 1 to the 1 to the 1 to 1. And the bass is kind of outlining that, kind of in an A minor pentatonic shape. I got some like really auxiliary percussion here. I remember his vocal style just being really high and kind of thin and piercing. It's got a really unique character to it. Like, I'm really glad to kind of come back to these guys. I've just kind of always written them off for no other reason than I just kind of forgot about them. I'm going to go back to about here. This is a 7-minute song. We haven't done one this long in a while. But let me just kind of ease into this again.
Is there a spirit that spits upon the edge of the sign?
Really driving that rhythm. Man, the dynamics. Okay, so far the bass is a little tough to pick out. It's just really a really dense composition. But he's really sticking to that theme I just talked about, and he's kind of going up the scale, just kind of driving it higher on the bass, and then bringing it back down to where he was. Really great way to drive the energy. And I talk about this in videos a lot. It's almost like when the composition gets busier, the higher you drive your bass line, it kind of adds to the energy. And it gives you this headroom to kind of reset where you were. So he's kind of... But I heard him kind of go up. He's really kind of staccato, broken up notes. let this go for a bit, but I'm just kind of keeping my ear on how the bass is kind of playing into all this craziness.
Is anybody there? This craft only multiplies. At the neighbor ruins, rough propellers away.
Same thing again. It's almost like the bass is kind of matching the pattern of the vocals. I'm kind of trying to find how the two are complementing each other because they're contrasting too, but they have kind of a similar direction. I've got to let this kind of slow burn for a bit. But what's interesting is there's these little jabs of guitar chords that are kind of dissonant. I think I've just heard some tritones in there straight up, just kind of thrown in. But I think production-wise, this has some really unusual choices, like the vocals being completely panned here, the guitar being completely panned here. And artistically, I wonder if that's a way to kind of keep that rhythmic theme at the forefront, because you got the drums and the bass just kind of a little more center. It's this real 3D image when I close my eyes. It's kind of like a half circle. Got the vocals here, got these guitar ancillary things here, and then you've got this and there has to be some artistic choice behind that production, because it's a real immersive. I kind of feel like I'm in a fever dream, but so many layers to peel back here. Okay. Heard a little Hammond in there, I think. Down here in F sharp now. That's a cool groove. I heard some like little signature kind of Flea sounding fills. He's got a way of kind of like his notes have like a real full length value. I don't know if it's just in the way he plucks, but I don't know. He's got a signature thing when he kind of moves around in a bass fill type manner. Right there. Yeah, it was kind of like... Okay. Total fever dream.
You've got the lock a shovel picks with the cries. Is there a spirit that spits upon the exit of sight? Is anybody there? The steps keep on growing.
Really like the vocals there. Just good tone. It's got a high voice, but it sounds powerful at the same time. Okay, this is the part I'm talking about. Listen right here. If you're in headphones or you have some awareness of left and right channels wherever you're listening, this is a real interesting production choice. It's almost like it puts the things that should be up front, guitar vocals, lead guitar vocals, it's almost a statement to put them in the background. because you got to keep on this pulse. This almost has like a heartbeat character. It's kind of the heartbeat of the piece. Just dunk, 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 dunk. Right here. Now they switch. Right here. I didn't catch that the first time. They're kind of rotating. It's like the guitar and vocals are rotating, the panning, which is more of a fever dream thing. I'm gonna keep saying that because it's deep, interesting. Okay. There was a Hammond there, organ or something here. Comes in just real faintly, but just kind of adds that texture to it that keeps it a little more lighter. This is kind of a dark, deep experience so far. I like what the Hammond does to that. Brightens it up a bit for me. This is something else. Almost sounds like, I was talking about the bass and the vocals kind of lining up. That was kind of my theory as it went on. There's little bits of moments earlier where they kind of complemented each other, but I think it's a play on the guitar, the lead, and the vocals. Because the vocals kind of came in and took over the same type of approach melodically that was going on the guitar. That was kind of a mini solo. It was kind of, pentatonic. And the vocals came in and kind of faded in a way and kind of took over that same wailing character. Yeah, this is something I have to understand the bigger picture of. I was reading a bit about the album, sort of the concept or the theme lyrically. Someone who died of an overdose. It was dedicated to a real person. I was just kind of briefly reading this, putting these notes together. So I imagine musically, this is a big part of the soundscape to tell that story. And, it's always interesting jumping into something that deep and nuanced, just at a surface level listen. And this is, of course, in the middle of the album track listing I was looking at too. So I'm kind of getting a really out of context clip of a bigger picture. And some songs don't have this issue, some do, but this is certainly interesting. I've got to zoom out, and I do full albums on Patreon. I'm certainly going to put this on the poll over there, and we'll see if it gets voted on. But this is almost kind of like I did Refused, The Shape of Punk to Come, a song from that called The Deadly Rhythm, and people express those same sentiments. It's like, you got to see the bigger picture. But this is fun. When I close my eyes, it gets really vivid trying to hear all this stuff. Okay, so the guitar's doing that thing. The vocals come in and just kind of, take the torch or the baton from the guitar and kind of keep that same energy going all on this right channel. Oh, that was smooth. That's a very Flea-esque thing to do. I mean, I can spot that a mile away. Just that kind of repeating a bass fill, but take it up 2 octaves and bring it back down. There's a lot of Chili Pepper songs, which I'm really familiar with them. So I'm kind of listening for those tendencies he has. That's one of them right here. Yeah, that's Flea all day. Sounds like it's going up kind of a A minor pentatonic. They're leaning into that flat fifth now. I can hear it in the vocals. Like if you go right here. Which is kind of a bluesy thing. But the vocals are adding in that flat 5, which almost kind of harkens back to some of those bits of dissonance that were kind of poking in at the beginning. This has been a really slow burn build. This feels much quicker than 7 minutes. And that flat 5 is kind of the core of the dissonance. You know, it's basically making a tritone, which a blues scale technically has a tritone in it. But Flea, going up on that fill, is leaning into that flat 5 too, which is why it kind of has that bluesy sound. Let me hear that again. Yeah, that whole thing. But he's kind of plucking it and giving it maybe some irregular note groupings. Kind of had that sound to it. That's a very Flea-esque thing. And what's different is when it's kind of packaged in a song like this, it takes on a different character. Yeah, what's interesting about me doing this song is I'm really familiar with his tendencies as a player, but it's so unexpected to hear him playing for this. I don't know how I missed that trivia tidbit all this time, but what a cool pairing. It always reminds me the music scene is a smaller world than I sometimes think. Okay, let's let this go. It feels so conceptual, just in the sonic, like sonically. Like it's simmering down from wherever they just took us. It's just a big cool down period. Well, that was quite the listen. Don't totally know what to make of it. And they sound just as crazy and hectic as I remember. And as much progressive stuff as I've listened to, this really falls into more of like an experimental avant-garde type thing. And some bands, one song can kind of get you an idea of what they're about, and one song might make you more confused. I feel like that's the case with this band. But there's a lot of things that were really, really interesting about it. I like that they take that kind of Pink Floyd approach where there's an overarching deep theme to what's going on in the lyrics. There's some concept or loose theme or something like that. And they don't just tell it through the lyrics. They actually lean into the whole sonic presentation to make you feel a certain way. I mean, there's so many modes to go through in that song. Discomfort, confusion, unsuredness, almost like an anxiety-ridden theme with the way some of the things panned around. It's kind of why I said fever dream. But that's a true nod of artistry to tell a story past the lyrics. You know, they go the extra mile to try to recreate those same emotions that might have come behind what this was written about in the story. Of course, I'm speaking very surface level here about the band and, a snippet from Wikipedia. So that's just what I kind of glean from it. And I think as far as Flea's playing, there's definitely some things in there he did that I recognize, but I've come to learn how versatile of a player he is. So hearing him adapt to that kind of craziness says a lot about him as a player. Of course, this is early 2000s, so I know he was dabbling in tons of different things over his career. So this was just really cool for me as a Flea fan to kind of hear this. So thanks to our members on Patreon who were talking a lot about this song and turned me on to the whole fact that he played with the Mars Volta. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you'd like to support the channel further, come find us on Patreon. I do full album reactions over there. This one's probably going to go on that poll. I want to see the whole piece of artwork, not just one square of it. I also have bass lessons, music theory lessons, and all that type of stuff. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I love you all. Thanks for hanging, and we'll see you next time.